The neurons, which are the nerve cells, are the basic functional unit of the nervous system. All activities and information accomplished by neurons. The function of nervous system: first, controlling all motor and sensory functions, autonomic function, cognitive and behavioral activities. The basic functional unit, which is the neuron, composed of: first, cell body, occurring in clusters called ganglia or nuclei; dendrites هي التشعبات اللي هي عبارة عن branch type structure with synapses for receiving electrochemical messages; axon, which is the long projection that carries impulses away from the cell body. This picture clarifies the structure of the neurons. First, from left, the dendrites, then the cell body contain the nucleus, and then the axon. The skull protects the brain, and the lobes of the brain composed of frontal, parietal, temporal, and occipital. The meninges, غشاء السحايا, contains three main layers. The pia-mater, which is lies next to the central nervous system. The arachnoid contain the vascular supply, and under this layer there's a space called subarachnoid. كلمة sub تحت, subarachnoid space, that contain the cerebrospinal fluid or CSF. The outermost layer, الطبقة الخارجية من غشاء السحايا, هو الديورا. The thickest, next to bone. There is two spaces, one above and one below. Below the dura, subdural space, and above the dura, which is the epidural space that located between the dura and the skull. Blood-brain barrier. Not all substances can cross between the blood and the brain due to endothelial cells of the blood vessels. The CSF contains the nutrient and provide a protection for the central nervous system. It's a clear, colorless fluid, no red blood cell, but contain glucose amino acid. This fluid produced in choroid plexus about 500 cc every day and circulated from lateral ventricles to third ventricles, fourth ventricle, through holes, subarachnoid space, and to arachnoid villi for reabsorption. These holes sometimes could be closed by infection like meningitis, clot, tumor, and these things may lead to obstructive hydrocephalus that may lead to increased in intracranial pressure, the whole ICP. Cerebral vasculature. The CNS receive 20% or 1/5 of the cardiac output. There are two internal carotid from common carotid artery and two vertebral arteries from the subclavian. The circle of Willis, located in subarachnoid space, which is a branch of basilar and internal carotid artery unit. There is internal carotid artery, anterior and mid-cerebral artery, anterior and post-communicating artery. All of these providing blood supply to the brain. This picture clarifies the structure of the neurons. First, from left, the dendrites, then the cell body, contain the nucleus, and then the axon. The four lobes: frontal, which is the largest, responsible for affect, judgment, personality. Parietal interpret all sensation except smell. Temporal responsible for taste, smell, hearing. Short-term memory, and the occipital for visual interpretation.